Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Holistic Pharmacy Podcast. I have with me today a very special guest, as usual. Her name is Dr. Eziaku Ogbonna. She also goes by Dr. OG or Ezi, and she's the owner of Ayoni Wellness. So I'm so excited to get into a conversation today because she is a clinical pharmacist and an herbalist, and we have a lot of similarities. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes, we are so happy that you're here. So I'd love to just start off with how you grew up and how you got into pharmacy in the first place.
Okay, sure. So it's quite an interesting story. So I'm originally from Nigeria, West Africa, and growing up in Nigeria, I hated medicine. Like my mom, they would hide medicine everywhere. They would hide it inside like the fufu, which is like the ball of like cassava that I would eat. I would always find it. And I just hated medicine. So anyway, so we came to America when I was 7, and then growing up, I would even before traveling to America, I would see my grandmother use herbs to to like heal people, to like heal different topical ailments and things like that. It was just commonplace. Then I moved to America, and one of my best friends growing up, she had an asthma attack in college, in her first year of college, undergrad, and an EpiPen could have saved her. So I was just like, you know what? Let me just bring both of my modalities, which is chemistry, which I was doing in undergrad at that time, and my interest in herbalism, and then just like see what happens. I went to pharmacy school and I took electives in addition to the required courses. So I took electives on shea butter and alternative and complementary health. And then I did some internships at the NIH, and I just bridged all of those together. So long story longer, I was like, this is not satisfying. What, like, there's something missing. So I just started traveling. I started traveling to different places. I traveled off the beaten path. I took a hike to Peru, and I started looking at how different people did things. And I was like, wait, we're not really that different. They're different journeys, but they're different routes to the same destination. So why not just combine those? And that's why I ended up with Ioni. So Ioni Wellness is a holistic approach to health and wellness using both modalities, the Western approach and the Eastern approach. And here we have it. And then it's just like focus on topicals and things like that, just with the science and chemistry and herbalism approach to it.
Wow, I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing that background. And if you could just share what Ayon, I think it's you said Ioni
Yes.
stands for, because I think there's a meaning behind the brand.
Yes. So funny story. So I'm actually Igbo, and Ioni is really pronounced Ioni, and that means it is joy. Ayo is joy. Ioni is like there is joy. It is all joy. And I just was literally like minding my business, and I just literally heard the word Ioni, and I was like, oh, that sounds. So I googled it, and I saw the Sanskrit word, and it means like without origin, or without from like not from birth, or not something like that. Like it has different meanings across different cultures. And I was like, oh, I like this name, and I just adopted the name. So, and I think it just radiates what I want from the end user, from the people to feel when they use my products, like joy, like, oh, this is joy. Like, so there we have it.
Yeah, it's so awesome to hear you say that because, well, number one, naming something is so powerful and what it represents and what you wanted to evoke in the end user. And then what you mentioned about like, combining the art of herbalism and pharmacy and all these different cultures and traditions and like getting to what we're all trying to do. Like there's no need for division, like which approach is better when we're all trying to improve patient outcomes and health. So I love that, you're having that. And I think joy is really and truly the key missing element from
Mm-hmm.
healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything is so serious and
Yes.
there is like no room when we're just like hyper focused and logical in the Western conventional model that it kind of like loses sight of the quality of life component, which is really just enjoying your life, which is why we're doing
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah, it's like a program. It like was just like programmed to do things based on protocols. Like we don't have the feeling, like the feeling is out of it. Like a computer has an algorithm, but a computer doesn't have discernment. We are not computers. We have discernment. We have feeling, and that's what's kind of like missing and detached. And we can, and it's not our fault because we're so overworked. As healthcare professionals, like we're so overworked, we can't afford to give joy all the time, but we always have to remember that it's always joy. It's always joy.
Yeah. And it's like that's the point, right? So keeping our
Mm-hmm.
eye on the prize during the
Mm-hmm.
process, even when it gets hard, I think that's so important. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that that's what you're bringing up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's more important than ever to bring our humanity because we have all the AI stuff that can do, all the calculations and all these things for us and the automations. But it takes that human approach and human touch for us to really make that difference and that connection and that relationship, which is so important to healing as well.
And I like what you said because I always think about in the back of my mind, all sentient beings respond to genuine love. So whether we have AI, whether we have algorithms, we have to make reels, we have to do if all sentient beings are going to respond to genuine love. So if you have genuine love and feeling behind what you do, it's going to touch who it needs to touch and agree with, and it's going to circle back and it's going to do what it needs to do. So just go do it with love, and people will feel it. People will feel it.
Yeah, I love that perspective. And I certainly have felt that about your brand, which is why I reached out to you on Instagram. And I thought it was really special. So I'd love if you can share, kind of the steps that you took to bring to life, your passion, right? Which is helping people and the story that you shared that you can save people's lives, right? With chemistry, essentially, and why it was important to you to create this way of helping people.
Because I feel like there's so many different paths to take, and some of the paths are like locked away because of the lack of access to education, lack of access to even if we have the education, we have the words, we don't have the like comprehension and things like that. So my ultimate goal is to use that knowledge that I have access to and incorporate it and give it to people and put the candy in the medicine. I want to put the candy in the medicine with Ione eventually, right? So let me give you an example of how I approach things. Okay, so Dr. OG's Flex Bomb. Let's use that as an example. I want to move from a blue ocean strategy. What is the blue ocean strategy? To me, there's a red ocean. The red ocean is different pain creams that like that's like a competition among all the pain creams. Who's the strongest one? I don't like competition because that's not me. I like a soft life, soft life. So no, I want to I want to build a blue ocean. What do I like about pain creams? Is effective? What do I don't? Why don't I like about them? They stink. So what do I know? I know about the inflammation process. I know about trip V, I know about the nervous system. I know these things and I know about herbs. So why not use capsaicin because it's good for the trip V1. So it's good for the nociceptors. It's things like that. So that's how I come up with my formulations. And I read a lot of journals for fun. I'm like kind of a nerd like that. So for me, it's not research. I'm just like, oh, this is new. So let me just investigate it and incorporate it in my formulations. And that's how I come up with my stuff. It's just like fun. It's fun to me.
Yeah, yeah, that energy really shows through, I think. And so if you could walk us through like your process from finishing pharmacy school, traveling, seeing how it's done, knowing that you have roots where you've used herbal medicine and your grandma had used it, like what steps did you take to educate yourself further and to start this brand?
Okay, so let me give you an example from when I went to Peru. So we went hiking, and before I went to Peru, I got a medication for motion sickness and altitude sickness because it's gonna be so high. So when I got to Peru, I had my prescription and everything, and then the people gave us coca tea, and coca tea works way better than like what they gave us when I was prescribed, and I was like, why don't I like this is a tea actually works like way better and faster than medication. Like, why are we not doing this? So I was just like, wait, in Nigeria, when a child is born, the mother is given uda, which is it causes a stimulation of the uterus so the uterus can expel like whatever is left. That is the reason for the soup. So everything, all our ancestors had modalities. It just wasn't like put into like protocols like how Western people approach approach healthcare. There's nothing wrong with each thing, but we have to weigh the if the benefit outweighs the risk. That's how we talk, right? Risk benefit analysis. The benefit outweighs the risk, then you go with it. If it doesn't, then you don't. And that's how we should really approach everything. That's how our ancestors did things. They did it, it worked, and they continue doing it. So why not adopt their rationale and then merge it with our rationale and just work together? Like that's, we just have to bridge the gap. So that's how I approach my things. And it's been working for me. So
Yeah, I love it. I think it's just a matter of how we define evidence that we base
mm-hmm.
on. So just observing something and it happening over and over and over again, like a natural phenomenon, that is also a type of evidence, even if we don't yet know the exact mechanism of action. And that's where
Mm-hmm.
the nerdy part comes on, and you can read all the research, but the research is there and it's emerging. So I love that approach. And I'd love to know, like, when you started this brand, did you know it was going to be a product-based brand? How did it evolve into what it is today?
So I've always wanted to approach like health. Okay, when I was in pharmacy school, I had something called OTC, over the counter therapeutic counseling. Like I had like a formula, I formulated like a business. So I always wanted to reach the people from like not from like a pharmacist, like in the pharmacy standpoint. I want to like go to the people. So I've always had that vision in my mind. So when I upon graduating pharmacy school, I actually did like a dual degree program where I did an MBA and like a PharmD. So that was the reason I wanted to go like meet the people where they are and like give them the medicine and the candy. So like after pharmacy school and after like starting my family, building my family, and around like 2020, 2021, with everything that happened, I got the opportunity to just say, you know what, I'm gonna just approach my dreams. And I registered, did the LLC, all the fancy smancy stuff. And I just started with shea butter. What I knew from like growing up, I just started with that because I know, like we were talking about, evidence based, it's been tried and true, tested every week. That's what we do. And I just took the things that I liked about the shea butter, and I've removed the things I didn't like about the shea butter, which is like the smell, and I mixed it with things I like, and I just came up with Shays Bay. And that's how it started. It started with Shays Bay.
I love it. And a lot of people also have questions around, okay, if you want to follow your dream, but you want, the income and stable um, monetization, right? Like to take
Mhm.
care of one's family and one's finances. How did you manage your time around like following your passion? And did you need to have another job on the side to fund your dream, or how did you approach that part?
So I did it. I just started where I was. I didn't like, I have big dreams, but I'm just gonna just do it in bite-sized pieces. So I just started with a Shopify website, just did the trial and did things like online. And I approached it from an e-commerce standpoint. I remember one of the hiccups that I ran into was like not having like a shipment, like having a shipment in place, which I really highly recommend, because then I'll have to pay so much like money for postage and then not even have any returns. So once like I fixed those hiccups, I was able to like, fix the logistics and just start where I was. I'm not like I wasn't expecting a lot of sales because I didn't have enough revenue to like really invest. And that's the money aspect. Now the time aspect, I work an unconventional schedule. So I work 7 nights on, 7 nights off. So on my off weeks, I was able to like, make products and do all of those things. And in my own week, I will work. So it works out for me that way. So I'm pretty sure if you don't have if you have a conventional work schedule, it may be more difficult, but it's not impossible. So we just have to adjust and have certain workarounds, but it's not impossible.
All right, awesome. And since you were taking baby steps, it sounds like, at what point did you feel like, oh, wow, there's something here and I really want to continue building it?
So someone, and again with the flex bomb, like I got like all these reviews and people were actually asking for it, and people were like, I came to someone's house and I saw a flex bomb in their house, and I was like, oh, okay, so this must be good. So I got like really good reviews. So I just started saying, reviews don't lie. This must be good. This is going somewhere. And then when other people from different countries started like asking about it, I knew I was doing something. So you know, I just started there, I was just build on that.
So talk to us about your best products, right? Your most popular one. You mentioned the Flex Bomb. So what's that?
So the Flex Bomb is a topical pain reliever. So think about like the topical, like your topical typical pain reliever at the supermarket or the pharmacy. It probably stinks. So now the Flex Bomb doesn't stink. It actually smells good. It has like essential oils, but it approaches the same problem, which is pain, but it approaches it from different aspects. It smells good, so you're getting the aromatherapy. It has like instead of like it has essential oils that will help with the inflammation and things like that. Sometimes someone told me it helps heal their toe fungus, which I can imagine because it has certain essential oils that also have that. And it has jojoba oil, so it feels good on the skin. So you just want to approach the pain relief from a holistic sense, not just pain, 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 and then it stings. You just having a bad, like you're not enjoying you just have to enjoy every moment, even if it's pain. You just have to like have a softer landing. That's all. So it's a really good seller. There's again the shea butter is really good seller. It's seasonal, so I stop it around May, because it's anhydrous. Like there's no water in it. And there I have eczema, the eczema line. I use Aveeno sativa, which is oatmeal, colloidal oatmeal, and I use a higher percentage in the reputable the reputable brand that we all know. I use a higher percentage and I approach it a different way and a better formulation of it. And I have Blue Lotus. I have a few different things that people like. So yeah, it's available on the website if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah, I'll share all that in the show notes. So talk to us about how you build the brand, right? Like how you build that loyal customer base. You're getting reviews from the US and other countries. So how did you like build that, respond to that, and cater to that audience?
Basically, just doing what I said I was gonna do. Oh, and I just saw my bracelet. Be who you needed. Basically, that's why. This is for my brand. Be who you needed, and that's the motto I have. So if I'm like typical customer of mine, like I would if I was a customer, what is my journey? How would I like my journey? Even from ordering to receiving my box, I want it to be an experience. I want you to open the box like, oh, this is Joy. Oh, okay, let me see this. Like before you even use the product, people have used the product with their eyes before they even receive the product. So that's how I want to approach it, from like inception until like reception, like to when you receive it. Like I want it to be like joyful. So I do certain things. I write different like little affirmations. I give them a card. I give them this bracelet that says "Be who you need it." So just different things that I try to put in for my heart, because I know, again, all sentient beings respond to genuine love. So as long as I'm putting myself out there and I'm honest about it, and I have integrity, then the people will come. I don't advertise. I don't pay for AdSense. I don't do it. The people are my advertisement. Like during my advertise, I don't advertise. So the people come back, and I appreciate it.
Wow. So it sounds like largely referral based, right? And
Yes.
repeat customers, and then they recommend it to people, and the experience, the customer journey is
Mhm.
something you put a lot of thought and attention to. So how did you find your first people, right? Like your first supporters?
Okay, so those were family, like family, and then like once oh, and then on the internet, people who just were willing to give my product a chance because of my credentials. As you know, these credentials are just they're earned. So once we earn these credentials, so when and we move according to our word, and it's a lot to put out there. So when people know that you move according to your word, they trust your brand. Even if your brand is just new, they trust your brand because you are the brand. And that's how I moved, and that's how I was able to secure like genuine customers. And then after that, after like securing customers, having a consumer base of people I knew, I wanted to generate like a just a general like a general consumer base of people I don't know. So I opened an Etsy shop just to see what a typical customer is like that is not really attached to me, just like a random end user. And then I watched to see like check their demographics. And then I was like, oh, okay, a typical Ioni customer is like this and like this. and then I'm going to cater my products to both people, both consumer brands, it's consumer segments. So that's how I just reached out, and then I just give people what they need, what they're asking for. I kind of want to move from an agile standpoint, in that I base my formulations on feedback. Like it's very agile. I base it on feedback from
Yeah, I
people.
love it. So like really responsive in real time
Mm-hmm.
to people.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing with medicine too. It's like we have this static view of like health
Mm-hmm.
and science and what is known at any given time, and we don't realize that it's changing all the time, and we need to be able to adjust, from moment
Mm-hmm.
to like what's the new scientific breakthrough, and what's the new evidence, right, that we're uncovering and how it changes things.
Exactly. We have to move with the times, because the time is moving quicker than the program that we have already installed. We have to reinstall a new program or make the current program run quicker. There is no in between, pretty much.
Yeah,
So
yeah, like you literally have to adapt and
or
evolve,
that,
or you're gonna
or
die
five,
out.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So, talk to us about like the actual process of running your company, like from procuring the products to whether you have a physical location, like what's your setup like?
Okay. So like I have so as far as like the paperwork aspect of it, I definitely have an attorney, definitely have a CPA. So those are the ones, if you can afford, like definitely try to have an accountant, so that way make sure your money is good, and make sure your legal stuff is good. You can like get your at your EIN online by yourself. All of those things can be done via a Google search, but then you just automate the bag. That's what I call it. Just automate the bag. There's no need to do extra stuff. I try to automate the bag. So like I set up like a program. Again, I had mentioned that I had Shopify. So I bought an app that just sends out something once the item is delivered, then it asks people for a review, like, do you like your item and things like that. And then it like kicks it back to me once it gives me a review, instead of like reaching out to the customer. You have you have a report, and you can use that's like meat. That's like meat you can just eat and find out what your people want. You have like a review right here, like, hey, this is what I want. And then you take that information and you feed it right back, and you give people what they want. And that's how I run my business on the paperwork end. And then I'm always here. People can always DM me, ask me questions, and I'm soon gonna try like pivot towards consultations. Like giving people medication therapy management, things like that. Maybe taking just one or two clients a month, and like telling them about their medication, things that we should be doing as pharmacists, but we don't have time to do. So I kind of want to do that.
Awesome. And how did you approach like the legal side of things and like knowing that you are a pharmacist and wanting to protect that license and then also having a product-based brand and the legalities of that and GMP guidelines and all of that?
Yeah, so that's the thing that's sets us as healthcare providers above, because we have to really like uphold those standards. Like it's a matter of like our licenses on the line, and that because of that, it helps us like to know, it helps people to know that we are doing what we said that we're gonna do. But I still do it anyway because that's just who I am. But this is what I do. I make sure as far as like protecting myself legally, I don't make certain claims, even though we know based on certain research that things have been observed. But we have to do things the way that when in Rome, do like the Romans. You have to abide by certain laws. The thing I would recommend is know what the laws are. Like know the semantics, know the law. So you can't speak a language you don't know. And if someone is speaking a language to you, you won't understand it. Law is a language, is an energy. Law is an energy. Understand the energy of law with regards to what you're doing. We don't have to learn the whole thing. Just say, this is what I want to do. What are the boundaries? Laws are the boundaries to tell you how to play the game. Once you learn how the game is played, you can learn how to play the game the way you play the game. And that's how I do it. I mean, I can't, I'm saying a lot without saying a lot, but that's how we have to do it. We have to move with like a cloak and dagger as healthcare professionals, because we know what we know from different standpoints. One foot is on one end, another foot is on the another end. And what do I mean by that? We have one foot in Western methodologies, and we have the other foot as herbalist and another, and we know that we are true to both, so we have to move accordingly, and that's how I try to do things.
Yeah, love it. And at what point did you feel like it was time to expand and, have everything be maybe instead of handmade, but like automated? And I don't know if you have a physical space where you actually make the products and
Mhm.
or sell the products, or is it 100% e-commerce at this point?
So I have a so that I'm good. I'm happy you said that because I'm feeling like it is time, and I'm in the process of ordering making a trailer. So with the trailer, and like right now I have a space, I have an apothecary that's behind my house, and that's where I make the items in a good, like, a GMP as much as possible there. But I also want like the privacy, so so that's why I'm going to have the trailer, and the trailer is going to be like a traveling apothecary. And within the trailer is going to be like, there are going to be herbs, and me, obviously, I can give consultations, take blood pressure readings and things like that. There'll be like different herbs and that people can buy. You can also purchase from the retail site. The retail site is mainly e-commerce, and that's where I'll sell the things that I make it from the apothecary. So the retail is like going to be like the trailer, but there are no physical, not a lot of physical products on there, like mainly just herbs and like consultations, but you can buy there. And
Love
I'll
it.
ship it to
I
you.
love it. Yeah, traveling clinic, like a mobile clinic
Yeah.
slash herb shop. Um,
Yeah, like
Beautiful. So,
wellness on wheels.
yeah, yeah. I want to ask you, you mentioned a couple of challenges, right? Like navigating e-commerce and, the shipping side of things. And then maybe like creating one or two platforms. I heard you say Shopify and Etsy. So
Mhm.
what's been like the biggest challenge overall with the e-commerce space, and what's been your maybe best solution for that challenge?
Okay, so you know how we were talking about the legalities, right? That's one of them, because like just yesterday, they flagged mango leaf. Like Instagram flagged mango leaf. So I mean, well, that's fine. So obviously I don't advertise for that reason. So my way around it is just to bring it to the people, which is like the trailer and things like that. And then for the education part, they're gonna be like not necessarily like blogs, like blogs in the springtime. I'm going to release some blogs that'll tell people more about the items that they're consuming, and that'll be a way to regenerate the traffic right back to my site. So instead of just like selling the product, I can tell people about the products, and if they want to purchase it, then they can click and purchase. So like I'm gonna like beat the beast through and educating the masses.
Yeah, I love that. So it's like a content-driven strategy to
Yes,
traffic on the site. So
exactly.
it sounds like right now is everything just consolidated under one site, and does that utilize Shopify or is it your own site?
So everything is consolidated. Okay, so that's the problem I'm running into right now, actually, because I had another e-commerce platform that I wanted to use and transfer over to, but I prefer Shopify, although Shopify is so high, but it's very user friendly and kind of intuitive as compared to the other one. So I would have to get rid of the other one. But tip, like a rookie mistake, always do your research. I try to do it like, yeah, I'm gonna do it because I research too much, but I didn't trust myself and I didn't research enough. So always do your research so you don't miss on like, miss the time and the money. So right now, primarily with Shopify. And Shopify is all e-commerce. And then secondary is Etsy. But I'm gonna get rid of Etsy because I've already generated the information that I wanted from a generic because the reason I had Etsy is to just take a snapshot of what a generic customer looks like, someone that doesn't know me, just someone from another country. Like, so I've already gathered that information, but at this point, Etsy's the risk and the fees have outweighed the benefits of it for me at this point. So it's time to like think about parting ways with Etsy. But a good thing is I was a star seller for so long that I got an email from one of the the high up. So I'm really grateful for all the people I've built positive relationships with. And it's time to say goodbye and move on to Shopify and then the blog. So I'm gonna attach the blog to Shopify, giving people opportunities to do, buy their stuff and learn about their stuff. Let me tell you one of the examples. So I have this something called the Dream Cream. It's for eczema. and I use certain herbs in it. So if you go on my website and you scroll down to the Dream Cream, you're gonna see like little dots. And if you click on the dot, you can buy the herbs that were used in the product. So you can buy the product and the herbs that were used in the product. So that's another way to navigate.
Yeah, I love it. I'm looking at the beautiful site right now. And I have to say it looks amazing. And, I could feel all the love that we were talking about
Yay.
there. And
Thank you.
yeah, I think this conversation about risk to benefit is really important because everything we're talking about, it sounds like obviously this is your passion and you love it and you are transmitting love and healing and you have people, to back that up. And I think it's also so brilliant that you've wrapped up the instant feedback and the market research that you're
Mhm.
ongoing, right? It's ongoing, it doesn't end. And so you've wrapped that up and then are returning that. And the risk to benefit comes in like, is it worth it, right? Like you're spending so much time and energy and building something from the ground up and, navigating some of the challenges that we've talked about, like, financially, is it rewarding, and is it rewarding in general?
Yeah. So in order to ask that question, like if it's in alignment with your purpose, then you already had the answer already there. The answer already told you. The reason why you're doing it is the answer, if that makes sense. So for me, I don't have a choice. This is my purpose. This is the reason why I'm here. I went through the pharmacy school for this. I went like this is the reason why I'm here. Everything that I've gone through has brought me here, and this is the reason why I'm here. I know myself, and I know I'm 100% sure. Now, knowing that, that is the conviction that I have. The vision that I have, it has not been realized yet because we're still students of life and this is a journey. I see the vision out there. Is it worth it? Not all the day, every single day, but every single day is a series of 1%. So maybe one day it'll be so annoying, then that's just a 1%, it's not the whole thing. So yeah, every day is not worth it, but I don't have it. I'm gonna do it. Like so it is what I'm gonna do it regardless. So I already have a conviction within my heart and I have alignment in my spirit. So it may not be, I mean, it's worth it ultimately, yeah, because it's my passion.
Yeah, I love that answer because it is an individual, case by case basis for what's worth it for
Mm-hmm.
one person is not worth it for another person. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the way you answered that was beautiful because it's worth it for you because it's your calling.
Here's
Um,
my call. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel the same way about what I'm doing. I feel like I can't give it up. It doesn't really matter, if I don't see results right away. It's sort of
Yeah.
like planting seeds and then following the breadcrumbs, and
Mm-hmm.
you just never know when they're gonna bloom.
Because how you do something is how you do everything, right? Because so even if you don't do this thing, you're gonna be that person doing something else. So it doesn't matter about what you're doing, it's who you are. So if who you are aligns with what you're doing, then you are the answer, you are the medicine. Like
Yeah,
you are the medicine. So
I think that's the best case scenario of like any sort of healing or ultimate
mhm.
fulfillment is if you're finding that authenticity and alignment in yourself and your purpose. So I love that and acting that way in the world.
Yeah, the wound is the cure is in the wound, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So before we wrap up, I'd love to invite you into a rapid fire round series of
Okay.
questions.
So
All right. Well, I've loved it. I've been loving this whole interview, Dr. Eziaku. So let's get into just some fun questions. So number one is, what would be your number one advice to improve somebody's quality of life right now?
do you basically just do say no? No is a complete sentence. That's my answer. No is a complete sentence.
I love that. And it reminds me of the boundaries, right? Like just play
Mm-hmm.
within the framework of who you are. And I just
Mm-hmm.
want to really quickly share what I learned from a communication teacher. So, your values represent who you are on the inside, and your
Mm-hmm.
boundaries represent your values in the real world. So it's
Mm,
showing the outside who you are on the inside. And so you're
mm.
protecting your values with your boundaries.
Love that. I like that.
Yeah. So question number two, what's your favorite herb right now?
Blue Lotus.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that? We haven't talked about that in.
Yes. Blue Lotus is a bestseller, and yes, I love that. I love it. So Blue Lotus has apomorphine and luciferin, and those are chemicals that are in it and help you give the have the relaxing and mildly psychoactive feel. It's amazing. It's a beautiful herb. It's a dream herb, and it's for your crown chakra as well.
I love that. And last question, what is your favorite pastime?
Traveling, traveling.
All right, I have
Because
to add a
I just love,
follow-up. Follow-up
huh?
question to that is what's been your best and favorite country or city that you visited?
Only because like it doesn't really even matter what like the city is, just the experience. Like I went to Nicaragua. I just like went there to the jungle and I just like stayed in the jungle at like a surf village. I just did it. So yeah, that was cool.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing your heart with us and a
Thank
little bit
you.
about your business and your journey. And lastly, can you share where people can go to learn more and connect with you?
Sure. I'm on Instagram, Ioni Wellness, AYONI Wellness, or the Plant Farmer. So it's like the Plant Farmer with PHARMA, and Linktree Ioni Wellness, and Linktree the Plant Farmer.
Okay, beautiful. Well, I'll provide all that in the show notes. Thank you again and have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you so much. You
Bye bye.
too.